Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of First Look, Final Word, the podcast where we take you along to see a movie with us. I'm Pete.
And I'm Trevor. What's going on, you heisters?
Heisters. Yes.
So today we're seeing Michael Mann's Heat in 35 millimeter. You already know that from the title. And we have another stowaway. I guess not another stowaway. They're our usual stowaway.
Yeah,
and
recurring guest.
Justin, yes.
Welcome back.
What was that?
Been planning that intro all day.
His signature honk.
I want to make a splash.
Welcome back to the pod. Yeah, good to have you.
Thanks, guys.
So, you were brought on for your expertise in everything that's Michael Mann.
God, I love Michael Mann.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I know Trevor's not a big fan, and I'm not like I don't hate him like Trevor does, but
I do not I don't hate him.
Well, no, I think you do. And I want to apologize because I've threatened violence on this podcast before. And I'm about to do it again. Trevor, if you come out of this not liking Heat and not liking Michael Mann, I'm going to slap your belly until it turns pink. And Pete,
you're gonna suck his belly?
You are on notice because of your opinions on the substance.
We'll not get into the substance. We talked about that to death. But noted, I'll watch what I say. All right, should we start with the synopsis here for people that aren't unaware of what he is? All right. Master criminal Neil McCauley, Robert De Niro, is trying to control the rogue actions of one of his men while also planning one last big heist before retiring. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Hannah Al Pacino attempts to track down McCauley as he deals with the chaos in his own life, including the infidelity of his wife, Diane Redora.
Oh my
This is a lot.
Oh my goodness. Like a synopsis should not say meanwhile at any point.
and it's not done. And the mental health of his stepdaughter, Natalie Portman. McCauley and Hannah discover a mutual respect even as they try to thwart each other's plans. There you go.
That is crazy.
That's
going too long. That's someone who is a really big fan of Heat.
The synopsis is like 3 lines, right?
Comprehensive.
It should be.
No, but not according to what I just did. This is why you do the synopsis, Trevor.
Well, I don't do them. I just read them off.
That's what I meant.
I read them off Letterboxd, and they're usually better.
You source them. I just do whatever Google throws at me.
They just do like a text scroll. Was that AI generated?
No, I don't think so.
Here's ChatGPT's interpretation of Heat.
Yeah, that'll be the next week's guest.
Right, to give my quick overview of my history with Michael Mann,
Okay,
I do really like a few of his movies, Thief and Manhunter being kind of at the top of my list. So I kind of like the earlier stuff. I like him a lot sometimes, and sometimes I just do not get him at all. Like his recent stuff, I don't see the appeal.
Okay.
And I feel bad about that. Because I feel like Michael Mann's like the one film bro director that I don't like walk into. I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm just saying that I don't walk into him.
Okay.
So I've seen Heat twice before. The last time was about 10 years ago. And it's one of those movies that I feel like I should like. Why don't I like it?
Okay.
I'm hoping that
Why
don't you like it?
I'm hoping that this is what unlocks it for me.
Threat of violence.
The threat of violence and seeing it on the big screen in 35 millimeter. So I am willing to admit that I am wrong about Michael Mann. I'm probably wrong about Michael Mann.
Yeah, like
but Ferrari sucks. Like I don't see why people like that.
Ferrari sucks. That's fair.
Okay. They all be winners though, can they?
He had such a good run.
I don't like Public Enemies. I don't like Black Hat.
Oh, Black Hat sucks. Public Enemies.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I've seen all of his recent stuff.
Well,
but
they're not like bad movies.
No.
Like, he doesn't really make bad movies. I mean,
he's fallen off since the 80s and 90s. Yes, I'd say the last great movie he did was probably Collateral.
That's a good movie.
And
come on now, Trevor. You must like that one.
I think Collateral is good, but
that's an interesting take.
But I don't love it.
Like I had this argument with him before. There's no changing his opinion.
I think it has like 2 great lead performances there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really like it that much.
The whole movie is the 2 lead performances.
Yeah, I don't know what else you're looking for.
Like it's just the 2 of them almost the entire movie. So if you like that. And he's a great visual director. Like his movies look good.
Yeah,
Collateral looks good.
That's what I really, really do appreciate about him and the synth. Like that's why like I absolutely love Thief. I listen to that soundtrack all the time. I think that's such a beautiful looking movie.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that.
It's really good. Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
So I'll toss the hot potato over to you, Pete, and before we can let our resident expert.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen a movie of his that I've not liked. Like, I do find it strange that you're so down on it on his career. But no, I mean, I'm not a huge fanboy. Like, I appreciate pretty much all the movies of his that I've seen. I kind of feel like you know what you expect usually when you go into a Michael Mann movie, and I don't ever leave disappointed. If that makes sense. But this movie in particular, I've not seen it for a long time, and I don't even really remember like a lot of the sort of the meat of the plot. I remember obviously the big set pieces and the main point of it, and all the like lines that you can quote. But no, I'm really looking forward to watching this one again because I feel like I'm gonna like it way more than I think I already do. If that makes sense. That didn't make sense, but whatever. I do remember liking it, but I think I'm gonna like it even more after seeing it again today.
Well, I really have to clarify again. I do not dislike Michael Mann. Okay, so don't come at me.
Sorry, I was
I like you being on the defensive.
I will. Yeah. Well, like
he's protesting a bit too much.
But I'm just saying, like, if you took like the 10 stereotypical, like, film bros love this person or whatever.
Right.
Michael Mann's like the one guy that I don't completely connect with.
Okay. So you like other bros, do you?
I like other bros, right? So
he's a big Christopher Nolan fan.
Not enough explosions or something. I don't know. He does quite a few.
Trevor, classically a guy who can't get through a movie without explosions.
I'm like, okay, explosions where?
We said it many a time on the pod.
Yeah, like I'm Still Here was pretty good, a good gripping like historical drama, but where were the explosions?
Yeah, nothing exploded.
Yeah.
Did anything explode in Last of the Mohicans?
Oh, gosh, that's a spoiler. We gotta edit that out. Right?
I don't think it's a major plot point, is it?
Okay, let's throw it to Justin.
So I am a pretty big Michael Mann fanboy, and I love almost everything he's done through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I really started appreciating his stuff maybe because during the pandemic when I decided I was going to go through Miami Vice, and his he was pretty involved with the first season of that, which is...
Yeah, did he direct the pilot of that thing? I think he did.
Sorry?
Did he direct the pilot of that?
Yes, he did direct the pilot. And the movie he did in 2006 is a sort of a retelling of that pilot. Okay. I do like the 2006 movie.
That's not one of my favorites, I gotta be honest.
It's lower on the list. But
some people love it, though.
Oh, yeah. Like, I know a guy who really, really loves it, and I don't really get it because I'd just rather watch the pilot and anything else from the show.
Right.
Well, it seems like it's lacking in color for the... Like, I've been over at your house before, and we've put on Miami Vice just in the background, and I kept like glancing over to the TV saying like, man, this thing is really popping. Like I should watch this show.
Yeah, but that Michael Mann just has such an eye for what looks good on screen. And his aesthetic sensibilities are amazing. And unfortunately, the 2006 Miami Vice kind of had a mid-2000s kind of cool palette. Yeah, it was filmed on, it was one of the first movies filmed on digital, right? So it does kind of have that look to it too.
Yeah.
Not to say that movies filmed on digital are bad. I just think that's not maybe the best example of it.
Well, that era might be like the worst looking era of film in film history.
It was pretty rough, right? I mean, we're still getting to grips with how to use that technology and make it look decent, I think.
Yeah, they got there eventually.
Depending on
Michael
sometimes.
Mann,
Depends.
I think through the 80s and 90s, you can put his run of movies from Thief all the way to Collateral up against, I don't know, almost anybody's like 10 movies. Like, if you're going to pick 10 movies from any director, now that I think about it, I don't know if there's even 10 in there from him, but it's such a good run that I don't know.
So what is the run? Do you have the movies?
All right. I don't have them in front of me, but let's see if I can do this. Thief, The Keep. What came? Oh my God! Am I already toast?
It's a good effort.
Manhunter, right?
Yeah, I think it was Manhunter next, but I'm not 100% sure. I should have had my phone out.
Get a hand in your Michael Mann chip.
God.
I'm pulling up the IMDb as we talk here.
But yeah, I mean, Trevor, you are right. Like Thief and Manhunter are two of his best. I would put Heat up there as my third favorite.
I really want to have Heat at the top of my list by the end of tonight. So I'm going in with an open mind and open heart.
Glad to hear it. You know,
because I do this a lot. And I watch a movie and I don't connect with that. I feel like I should connect with this. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not connecting with this? I think I watched Blade Runner 5 times before it finally clicked.
Oh, really?
Clicked for me.
Okay.
I was just watching the wrong version.
Maybe that's me in the
There's no other version of Heat.
Yeah, so
the thing.
That's the thing. So, but I'm seeing it in the optimal format. I don't know what was, maybe something was going on with me. The 2 times I've watched it previously. I don't know.
Okay, I got the IMDb rundown of his movies here.
All right, let's hear it.
So we got Thief, The Keep, Manhunter, Crime Story, LA Takedown, Last of the Mohicans, then Heat, and then we get into The Insider.
It's a pretty good run overall.
It's The Insider, Ali. What's Mercedes' Lucky Star?
I liked Ali.
I didn't mind it. And then Collateral. How far were we going? Were we going up to Collateral?
He said up to Collateral, right? So how many is that? 8 movies?
Wasn't counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's like 10.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was
10 or 11.
So you'd say like that's a 10 run that rivals anybody.
Now that I hear all of them,
there's some in there.
There's a few weak spots in there.
There's a couple in there.
I was talking to Trevor about this before we got recording, but I did watch The Keep last night.
I said, is any good?
So it is an absolute mess.
Okay.
The original runtime was supposed to be about 3 hours, but the studio cut it down to an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very cool movie. It looks very good. Has a lot of Michael Mann trappings, but it's a total mess. It's weird for him too because it's set during World War II. It's a bunch of Nazis in a Romanian fortress to a great synth score that's completely out of place.
Shocking.
It's a monster movie.
Was that a for-hire job that he did?
It's a monster movie?
Yeah, it's a monster movie essentially. Wow. Yeah, I don't know the story behind how he got attached to that. Like, I don't think he was looking like it's not something he wanted to adapt. No.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like his sensibilities at all.
No, but there are some very cool shots in it. And I mean, I'm trying to find a silver lining in a movie that maybe wasn't so good, and I hadn't even heard about before, 3 or 4 months ago. But no, it's worth watching just for how weird it is, I guess.
Okay.
Well, even in your list there, Last of the Mohicans is one that I didn't connect with also.
Oh, really?
Which other people really love.
Oh,
a big part of the problem is I watched so many of these movies in my first year university on a not very optimal screen.
I haven't seen that movie for a while. I feel like it probably doesn't hold up very well these days.
But I can only in the casting.
Well, just overall.
Well, let's not talk about that, Byron.
But I imagine it's quite a beautiful movie that I shouldn't have watched on my 720p resolution.
Yeah, or less at that time.
Maybe I don't know. It was DVD, so it could have been 480.
There you go.
God.
We should have done a Michael Mann rewatch marathon leading up to this.
We're just out of time.
Yeah, we just need to plan better, I guess.
All right, so Justin, where does Heat in your overall rankings?
Of
is that top 3?
Michael Mann.
Michael Mann, top 3 for sure, and maybe top 1. It's good enough to beat any of his others. I'm pretty sure it's just sort of the culmination of everything he was doing before that. And he's definitely never topped it since. So it's my favorite Michael Mann movie.
It seemed like it was like a culmination of a lot of people at the top of their game, just like coming together. And
the cast is so
good. It's crazy good.
Like,
really.
How did you bring all these people together? Oh my God! It just the fact that he got Robert De Niro and Al Pacino together to do something finally. I mean, this is the most talked about part of Heat, I'm pretty sure, but it's still amazing that it took that long to get them together in a movie.
Yeah, because I guess they were technically
in a
both
scene
in
together. I guess
both in Godfather Part 2, but not actually in any scenes together.
He played his dad, didn't he?
Yeah,
well, on screen together. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, in the same scene and stuff. Yeah.
Have they done something together since? Like, I guess they were.
Oh, I'm sure they did something.
Oh yeah, they were both in The Irishman.
Oh well. Yeah.
So was that
nothing else? But
was The Irishman the first time?
Who knows?
You know what?
I'm not sure.
I seem to remember just like maybe like a straight to video ish.
Yeah, I feel like there was a
like,
horrible movie with them both in.
Like is Righteous Kill? Is that a thing? Is that with the two of them?
I don't know what that is.
Well, we'll have to look it up after.
Yeah.
Don't have to listen to us live Googling something.
Kill.
I think I might be right though about that.
Yeah, Righteous Kill. You got it, Trevor.
Is that two of them on there? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm really smart.
There you go. I've not seen that one.
Okay, so why don't we pause the rest?
I'm real smart, he said.
I have to reassure myself many times. Why don't we pause the Michael Mann and Heat talk until after the movie?
Okay, yeah.
So if you are new to the podcast, Pete and I have these ongoing projects. And we pressed paused on our Aardman project to talk Oscars for a month, and now we're going to pick it back up.
Yeah, it's like the perfect pairing of movies, right? Is Michael Mann's Heat and Flushed Away.
Well,
I was trying to think of a segue to Lincoln, but I don't know.
Flushed Away really is like kind of like the epic
crime caper.
sort of. But yeah, so if you were not interested in hearing us talk about a not stop motion animated movie,
yeah, true.
you can just we've time coded the episode. You can skip ahead to just hear us give our immediate reactions on Heat.
Yes.
All
right. Let's do it.
Should we just dive into it?
Let's just do it.
Justin, so I mentioned we were doing Flushed Away. Did you watch Flushed Away?
Have you seen Flushed Away?
I watched Flushed Away.
Wow, look at that. He loved it.
All right, so what's your experience with Aardman?
So my Aardman experience is not as extensive as the two of you. I remember catching some Wallace and Gromit stuff on TV. I liked it when I was younger. I remember there being a mean penguin stole a gem.
That's a chicken.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. there was a mean avian villain and stole a jewel, which is actually a plot point in this as well, I guess.
Oh, there we go. Although that's not this movie.
I was really happy with myself because I made a connection between the two Aardman things I had seen.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't even put that together myself.
Yeah, there's a few like sort of like heists in this and Flushed Away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's like there is a law like officer in the movie, but he doesn't really
a law officer.
Sorry, like a police officer. Sorry,
right. No,
that's fine. I combine police officer and law enforcement.
Whatever they call them in England, those law officers.
That's what they call them in the sewer.
Right. The lawmen of the sewer.
No. So Aardman riding pretty high in its deal with DreamWorks. It comes out with Chicken Run, which is a huge success, and Wallace and Gromit, which has like diminishing returns, but is like a critical success. Like I would say it's a great movie. I think Pete, you were a little more reserved on the feature length Wallace and Gromit, right?
Yeah, I mean I still love it, obviously, but no, I prefer the short ones. Yeah, you're right.
And then they had this one, which is the last DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, and the first digital one they tried, right? The feature-length digital movie.
Yeah, and remind me who, like, do you know who the director of this one is? Because I
don't know actually.
It's not Nick Park or Pete Lord related really at all.
Yeah, I wonder if the studio we're getting somebody in.
So I feel like this is Aardman thinking like do we need to get into digital animation to keep up and survive, or like can we still do stop motion and digital kind of in separate streams with each other?
Yeah, I wonder. I didn't look into it, but I wonder how much time they save doing digital, because that's got to be one of the main reasons why.
And one of the reasons why I was initially excited to watch this because I thought it was going to be stop motion and I love it, and then I turned it on. It's like, oh, okay.
So
yeah, I think I read that one of the big reasons why they decided to do it with digital is because of all the water in it, because water is like insanely hard to do.
Well, yeah, even in like in Vengeance Most Foul, like all the water is digital.
And so they knew that they could do it digitally because of that. So they're like, okay, we'll just do the whole thing digital.
Yeah,
we can still make it look like it's stop animation,
but like
kinda.
Why do you have to do a sewer movie? Right? Like they're like they painted themselves in a corner here for this one. Like
very true.
Oh, how are we gonna stop motion animate all this water? I guess we're gonna have to go digital.
For a movie about sewers and toilets, there was like one poop joke. How do you help yourself? Like, wow,
that's discipline.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, I guess it's just more highbrow than that, man.
Well, definitely, if Nick Park was directing this, there'd be a lot more poop jokes for sure.
I thought the gag rate was pretty high in this one, though. I thought.
Well, I will say
what did you think of it, Trevor? Because you'd not seen it before, right?
I love this movie except for the animation, which I hate the animation. But I love this movie.
You know what? I totally agree.
But like,
it's a very good Aardman movie. But yeah, I think like you say, if this was stop motion, I think it would be talked about as one of the best.
Like if I'm ever blinded, I'll watch this movie a lot because it's probably a joy to listen to. Well, it looks like dog shit. Like I don't really have much good things to say about the animation.
You really think it's that bad? I mean, I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much as like you. I don't think it's dog shit. I think that's harsh.
Compared to like Toy Story, which came out almost 10 years before this.
Yeah.
Which I think the first Toy Story doesn't really look that great anymore.
No, that looks like
but it still looks way better than this one 10 years down the road. I think so.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Level.
I don't know about that, man. That Toy Story one is pretty rough when you look at it these days.
Okay, well, I guess you can argue that, but I think at least the people at Pixar knew where their limitations were and didn't put things that they were limited in front and center on the screen all the time.
Really? I didn't think it's that bad, man. Like they were definitely trying to ape the stop animation style of Aardman. And I think they did an all right job with it.
I thought it was just weaker for it. Like I just really
definitely
didn't
was
like
weaker
the CG.
for it. I'm not trying to argue that it wasn't weaker for it, but I don't think it was dog shit.
The only part that really confused me was the whole thing with CG. But why were the French guys live action?
Which French guys?
Jesus, Justin.
I missed the joke. What's the joke?
They're frogs.
Yeah, okay.
We do have some listeners from France, so we should...
some of the jokes in this are not subtle. Or to be honest,
didn't we come at the French the last time Justin was on this podcast too?
Doesn't sound right.
I know it's in the theme.
And like Justin's partner is like francophone.
Just like therapy style, I guess. They did the thing of like going back to like, let's just pump it full of star names though. Like the voice casting this is pretty crazy good.
Well, and that's why I think that this movie is pretty good for my argument on
just closing your eyes and watching it.
No, that it doesn't matter who you cast as the lead in the movie.
I do agree with you in this instance because like they could have been voiced by anybody, honestly.
Like Hugh Jackman at the absolute height of his power here. And it did not...
There was nothing outstanding.
No one was interested in this movie. Like, on top of it not looking very good, it's very, very, very British. I'd say this is more...
I think that's why I like it. It's so British. It's actually insane.
This is more British than Were-Rabbit. I think it's more British than Vengeance Most Foul.
Yeah, I think like the Wallace and Gromit movies are very British, but it's very like small town village living in the north, whereas this is just like, this is British. Like every single cultural reference about London you're going to cram into this movie.
The Toad was a true British villain, right? He was weaponized in the World Cup. Like,
yeah, and I think that's like I don't know if it was like an old wives' tale that went around, because I think the same thing happened about the Super Bowl. It's like when everyone goes
to the bathroom
at half time.
Yeah,
Everyone goes to the bathroom.
I never put those two
It's like an
together.
actual thing that like it really taxes the system, because it's the thing in England was it taxed the energy companies, like the energy grid like would almost go down because everybody would put the kettle on at the same time.
Oh,
There's some
interesting.
Everyone
truth
would
to
make a cup of
this.
tea at half time, so it's like everybody in the entire country putting the kettle on at the same time. It's just like, whoa.
That's fascinating.
Especially because it goes from 0 to 100, right? Because no one's doing anything, and then all of a sudden everyone's doing everything.
Well, especially for soccer, there's no commercial breaks for you to.
Exactly, you got to wait until half time, right?
How did Hugh Jackman do for the accent?
He did all right. That's why it was kind of odd that like they cast him, because it's like you could probably like you'd be forgiven to not even realize it was him unless you're like.
That's the thing I don't
looking
understand.
At the credits, it's like just hire a British person.
I think
to
he
do it.
did a great job, but
Yeah.
yeah, like why was it Hugh Jackman for this?
I just love the fact that they got the Wolverine joke in there. Did you catch that?
No.
Remind me.
There's a bit where right at the beginning where he's picking out what to wear before he puts on like the James Bond sucks. He pulls out Wolverine's costume.
I totally missed
that's
that.
right.
And throws it back.
And that whole
He doesn't
intro,
say a line to it though, right?
No.
That whole intro was too high energy for me. It just felt like it felt very Family Guy or something. Like it was just cut.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
I mean, this movie, it got a couple laughs out of me. Like the "ow my balls" part was pretty funny. And the French inspector saying, "I find everyone's pain funny but my own." I get that.
Yeah, I like this one, man. It's funny. My kids really like it, actually.
Well, the first time I learned about it was when we were at your cottage and it was just on in the background.
Oh, really?
And I've never even heard of this one. You're like, yeah, this is when Aardman tried to do like, the digital thing. I'm like, oh, they seriously? Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
No, they love it. I mean, they love anything. But I mean, it was funny enough and kept their attention.
I can see this being more enjoyable if you're watching with kids.
Yeah. And if you're British, and have kids, this is like the sweet spot. That's why I like it so much.
I think it works really well as a love story too. Like
You know what? It does.
It's got like, the energy of like a 30s hijinks movie. Like in there, everyone's talking so fast. And,
Yeah.
they're always giving each other the business. There's misunderstandings.
The singing like slugs.
Yeah, the slugs I could do without.
The slugs, were they just minions? Like
Before
same
Minions,
energy.
they were like
Yeah.
before Minions.
They
before
never took
Minions.
off.
Yeah,
But what is the reputation of this movie in England?
it's a good question. Actually, I'm trying. I don't really remember when it like initially came out. I think it was more of a backlash against the why is it not stop motion?
Yeah,
Because if you're an Aardman movie, like people are going to see, like it's like 80% of the animation and 20% whatever you stick around it. So I think that was the pushback. I think people are like, why are you doing this? Please don't do this. But I don't remember like how well it did. I mean, I don't think it did very well because it's just like the death of that deal with DreamWorks.
yeah. I did look it up a while ago, but I think it made its budget back. But that's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, it was like this is a bit of a failed experiment. I think
So it didn't do well over here.
over here.
I don't think so at all.
I don't think though.
Well, because even like Were Rabbit,
That didn't do
well
anything.
over here.
But it did really well in the UK. Yeah, I don't think. I don't want to say, but I would be surprised if this one did as well as Were Rabbit. Although it probably did just because of the star power, which I know you don't believe in, but I think it does make a difference.
There are at least a couple people who went to buy tickets.
Yeah, they just want to see Kate Winslet and sinking in a boat
That's all right.
again,
Ian McKellen.
right? Like how many?
I actually didn't even put it together that was him and Hugh Jackman in this movie together.
Oh,
They
right.
must have been sick of each other.
Yeah, no Magneto jokes, sadly.
And like overall, I'm pretty positive on this movie.
Yeah.
I just
I do quite like this one.
I just don't like how it looks at all.
I mean, I don't like how it looks either. I am quite surprised of
But you're forgiving of it.
how badly you think it looks, because I don't think it's that bad.
So this is on the better end of his stuff, you guys would say?
For the Aardman stuff,
Yeah. Like you're more positive on this than the other feature length things?
No, I'm
No?
I'm
well, like
it's probably my least favorite feature length I've seen so far.
but we're very up on Aardman stuff. I mean, I am especially like I love pretty much all of the stuff they've done,
Okay.
apart from maybe one I haven't seen, which we'll do in a future episode.
Yeah, we both still have to see Early Man.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that that's going to be the first dud.
I'm pretty far in my Aardman homework for the most part, and I'm pretty positive overall. So
yeah, I love everything they do pretty much. So this is like, I don't love this as much, but it's still like, I think it's great.
I just really into their overall sensibility.
Yeah,
and
I love the gags, man. It's like stupid gags. I love it
because it's such lowbrow, but done so well.
They're also very British as well, right? That's the kind of thing. It's just like that's stupid, but it's actually really smart to make something.
Like, how can we be stupid in the smartest way possible?
It's like, I think my favorite gag in this movie is where the guy tells him like where to go to find the boat or whatever, and then he goes into the tunnel and he hears the guy telling him again, and
like it's a memory,
it's a memory, but it's just the guy stood next to him like doing it all. Like stuff like that just cracks me up, man. I was crazy watching that. Yeah, so it's just like that kind of humor is like very British and very just gets me completely. So that's why I love these movies so much.
All right, well, anything else on Flushed Away?
No,
we're just kind of getting up to the theater now, so
I'm trying to remember if I'm forgetting any gags, but it's been a couple of weeks since I watched it now.
Yeah, well, we did kind of just press pause on Aardman when you had the idea for us to do our Oscar series.
Yeah, I'm glad we did that, though.
It was a great time, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm happy to get back into Aardman now, though, to finish it off. No, but yeah, I like it.
Here you go. So I believe next week we're talking Arthur Christmas, right?
Oh, is that next week?
I think so. I'd have to double check.
That's digital as well, right?
And that's digital, right? Yeah. But it's a very good looking digital movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's definitely an improvement.
All right, so we'll dig into that more.
Have you seen Arthur Christmas?
No, man.
No, man. What's wrong with Christmas movies, man?
I got nothing against Christmas movies. I'll defend some Christmas movies to the death. People don't like Jingle All the Way, but that is a top 3 Christmas movie for me.
I agree with you, but that is also a legitimately terrible movie.
I'm just here for the Sinbad.
I'll watch it every Christmas, but it is a bad movie.
Sinbad and Phil Hartman are so good in it.
Phil Hartman plays a total creep in that movie, man.
He's like the best thing in that movie, though.
I don't know, like Sinbad just like being a total psychopath.
Yes, he's pretty psychopathic. Everyone in that movie is pretty psychopathic.
Yeah, no one makes rational decisions. Okay, well, that's it. Anyway, our next episode, we're going to be talking about Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
Wait till later in the year. We'll do a Christmas project, and we'll do all these.
And remember, it's turbo time.
It is turbo time.
Okay, well, for folks who are new to the podcast, Pete, Justin, and I are going to go and watch Heat, then come and give you a spoiler-free reaction to the movie before giving you plenty of warning before heading into spoiler talk.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if there's anybody listening to this that hasn't seen Heat yet, or would like listen to our review without having seen it. But for those few people, do not fret. We'll be no spoilers after we come out.
So Anthony was going to meet us here, but he had to cancel.
But he's not. You said he's not seen it, right?
So he was under the weather today. He couldn't come, and he hasn't seen Heat.
Shout out to Anthony. Get well soon, bud.
Definitely. I assume he's going to be watching it this week.
Right.
So at least one person.
Okay. There you go. All right. But he would have seen it by the time we review it, though, if he was with us.
That's true. There we go.
I don't really know what I was supposed to mean.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well, wish us luck, everybody.
Yeah. We'll go anyway, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We are already on the road on the way home from seeing Heat. And I'm dying to know whether Trevor still hates it.
Well, he left.
He did leave. He did leave. To be honest, I thought he might have just tried to sneak out, exit stage left, when he just got up out of his seat and walked away 10 minutes in.
I think it was about 20 minutes in.
Was it?
It wasn't long.
So... Yeah.
Before we get into it, I guess we should address this.
Yeah,
Trevor left.
I got up and I told Justin, like, I think fairly loudly, that there's something wrong with my chair. I have to go.
Yeah, I heard you too.
I have to go find somewhere else to sit.
There is a problem with my chair.
There was a problem with the person sitting to my right. It wasn't Pete or Justin, just to be fair. It was probably the most annoying person I've ever sat next to in a theater.
Wow.
And yeah, he
That's coming off the back of last week's episode too, where we had a funny old time.
But I feel like he was mad at me for sitting next to him.
Yeah, well, how dare you? Really,
he was trying to take over my entire space. He had his backpack in front of me, and when I took my soda out of my cup holder, he moved his arm right in front of it.
Did he just covered your cup holder?
And then he put his feet up on the seat in front of him, and then he was
was it nobody sat in front of him?
No one was sitting in front of him, but I still think it's a pretty rude thing to do.
Yeah,
because the theater was packed.
Yeah, it was. I'm surprised there was even an empty seat.
And he was breathing really, really heavy intermittently. I would probably give him a pass if he wasn't doing the other really annoying things.
He continued it after you left. I thought he was falling asleep.
I don't know what was going on, but he wasn't making any weird breathing sounds as we were sitting and waiting and the trailers were playing. So I just took it as he wanted me to leave, and so I did.
He's trying to tell you something. I don't know what it was.
He continued behavior after you left, so I don't know what that
wanted you to leave. He just wanted everyone to leave.
Well, because we had originally tried to sit down, and I asked if the spots next to him were taken. And I thought he sort of said yes, but then I asked oh, there's someone sitting here? And he's like, no. And so we sat down.
That's funny. It's like, what'd you say? Okay, I guess not. Yeah, that's amazing.
Trevor's a very intimidating man.
Oh yeah,
6'8",
scary dude.
380
What'd you say to me?
Yeah, the face tat really is intimidated.
Now people are going to be picturing that. I podcast to keep myself off the streets.
Yes, we've all got a face for podcasting.
So
there'll never be a video episode of this. Don't worry, guys.
So if the movie was going to be 90 minutes long, I might have just toughed it out. But I knew a lot was riding on this watch.
You don't want to taint your viewing even further.
Well, I knew I could not give this movie a fair shake if I was next to this.
I hate that movie so much. Fucking guy.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like he was going to be sitting on my lap if I didn't do anything, because I was either faced with the decision of saying, "Hey, can you get out of my personal space?" or just getting up and moving, and then I decided to take the path of least resistance.
Yeah,
no, you're the bigger man.
I found a very comfortable seat towards the back, and I
nobody breathing there.
I had an enjoyable view. Yeah, I was probably the most annoying person in my row, to be honest.
Every seat was comfortable there. That was a great theater.
No, it was a really nice theater, actually. And
yeah, the theater was beautiful, and really comfortable chairs.
Worth the drive out.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the movie?
Yeah. Well, I loved it. I'm a big Heat fan. When we're on the way up, I think I said I was expecting to like it more, and my expectations were met. It's bloody brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, and I've never seen it in theater. And I mean, the way it's presented, the sound mixing,
that's exactly how I was going to say that. I feel like you can't replicate that as well at home. It's so freaking loud.
The loud parts are so loud, but not in the everything is loud kind of way.
And the things that should be loud are
gunshots
incredibly
are loud.
Yeah.
Planes are loud.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And Trevor,
it's been very quiet. Have you noticed? I don't think I sensed something coming here.
Okay, so a couple things about
prepare your chips to get pissed on here, guys.
A couple things about this movie. I loved it. I really, really, really loved it.
Nice.
To the extent that I wonder,
what was wrong with me?
Yeah, honestly,
that can happen sometimes, though, right? When you
about 2 hours in, I was was I just stupid? Back then, was I just stupid before? I don't know what my problem was. This is pretty damn close to a perfect movie. It's really good.
Did I hate this? Was I stupid?
There's a couple of things that I think are maybe I don't think it needs to be as long as it is. I'll just say that.
I don't know. I can't think of anything to cut out.
Well, how about the entirety of Natalie Portman? I feel like it's not necessary.
I think. Well, no, I can't talk about that yet. But I think there is.
I guess we're not doing spoilers, right?
Not quite yet. We can keep it high level.
I think there's some necessary parts with her just to show how absent Al Pacino's character is.
Yeah.
So certain things happen. It seems like it kind of happens out of the blue, but I think there's a reason for that, and he hasn't been paying attention because he's obsessed. With other things.
Honestly, I think what my issue is that I don't think it needs cutting out. I think it needs more, which is hard when your movie's already almost 3 hours. Like, I could see this being more and just like fill out that story a bit more.
Yeah, well, definitely. And if he was the only lead of the movie, I would definitely get more time.
Yeah. True.
Because there's like 2 crews in this movie.
Yeah.
And they both get equal time. Like, I guess
pretty much,
I guess Al Pacino's his crew doesn't get as much development, but you still see them in their personal lives somewhat.
Yeah. So would you say Robert De Niro is the lead, and then Al Pacino's the second lead? They're both. I say they're both leads.
I would probably say it the other way around. If anything, I think Al Pacino's the lead because I think it's
Is that okay? Did you say that because Robert De Niro's more like unknowable than Al Pacino?
I don't know. Maybe just because he's the good guy. Maybe that's just swaying my view.
But I also don't think Al Pacino's the good guy.
He's not. But he's out of the two. He's technically the goodest.
I think. Like Robert De Niro's character, Macaulay, right? He just feels like he's the force that's driving Al Pacino's character. So that just sort of swings me towards Al Pacino being the main character.
Well, I feel like he even mentions about like two sides of a coin, right? He flipped the coin. Yeah. I feel like their characters are kind of just like the 2 sides of the coin. They're basically very similar. Just one's a thief and one's a policeman.
Yeah, I would lean more on Robert De Niro being the lead, just because I feel like we spend more time with his crew, and the fact that like his crew are more lived in characters, whereas Al Pacino's crew are like kind of just there to service him.
Well, I feel like you learn you get more of Pacino's character though. Like, I feel like De Niro, it's kind of like you do get into it a bit, but I don't know. I just felt like I knew Pacino's character more.
Yeah, I think they keep De Niro pretty unknowable through the whole thing. Like,
exactly.
Val Kilmer is more of a this is intentional, but he's more of a developed character than De Niro.
And it goes with De Niro's philosophy. Like, it's like, I will not have a personality.
Right. Yeah.
Walk away from a personality in 30 seconds.
Yeah. I guess he can still pull though with those sweet lines like what you're reading, a book about metal. That's all he needs to pick her up.
Lady, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, why are you talking to me? And then he followed up with, this looks like algae in the ocean. And that was the sealer. That was how he got it.
How is she so interested?
I don't know. It's so insane. That's the worst cute I've ever seen.
I think she was the loneliest woman in the world.
I think that's where they kind of portrayed that, right? She's even like, I'm lonely. I don't know anyone. I'm not from here. Like, I've read a book. Right, okay, here we go. Get your pants off.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever been picked up while reading a book about metals.
Cracks in titanium.
Especially after being so aggro about it.
And then he's
book about metals, leave me alone, you stupid bitch. And then, like, oh, you're so dreamy.
And then he's like, yeah, I'm a metal salesman. I was like, oh, great. Now I guess I got to be a metal salesman for the duration of this relationship.
That's hot. Metal salesmen are hot.
I guess it doesn't matter ultimately.
No, it doesn't.
Which one's the lead?
But once you get invited back and see that furnitureless place, how could you say no?
Yeah, that's not creepy. Does she ever go back to his house though?
Actually, me.
Like, I feel like he was always at her.
No, I don't think she does.
Yeah, no. You're right. It's always at hers.
But yeah, that would be a bit of a red flag, right? Where's all your furniture? It's like, I'm getting round to get.
Oh man, it is so funny, like how few dishes he has in his cabinets. I was honestly chuckling to myself. Like he had like 3 plates and 2 cups and all that like glass cabinet like shelving, and like there were no dishes inside of it.
Living that bachelor life, man.
I mean, that's the most development we have with this character, right? So that blossoming relationship. But I mean, he tells you from the start how he feels about relationships where if, Val Kilmer's sleeping on the floor. He asks him if he's going to get any furniture. He says he'll get around to it.
Yeah.
And then, are you ever going to get a woman? I'll get around to it. So feels the same about both of these things.
Yeah. Not important.
So how do you feel about Al Pacino's performance?
He's like the most Al Pacino in this movie, and I freaking love it, man.
Maybe outside of Scent of a Woman.
Well, that was before this, right?
That was a little bit before, and then I feel like that movie might have broken him. And then
I think he's still got the hangover from that movie when he's in this one, especially like the start of it. I mean, there's some scenes where I swear he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
you even see the other actors are reacting like, "What the fuck are you doing, Al?"
I think just off camera there was like Al's stash of coke.
Yeah, that's probably got a bit to do with it. Like, some of the deliveries.
What do you think, Michael? I think I'm going to play the scene like completely fucking insane. What do you think?
I was waiting to see you do the first Pacino impression.
I'm going to play it straight, and then I'll get crazy.
I feel like he just can't talk to a black person like normally. Like it's so bad. And I don't know if that's in the script or what, like that. But
my favorite scene though is when he's talking to Hank Azaria, because like his face, I swear, is like real reactions to what he's doing because he looks so fucking confused. It's like, what is happening? What are you doing?
It's like, is this a practical joke?
Yeah, it's like that wasn't in the script, Al. Like, what are you doing?
Just looking over to Michael Mann, like, this for real?
Yeah, he just screamed ass at me. Oh man, no, I loved it though. Like, he got so many laughs in the theater as well.
I mean, you can't not laugh at that.
It's so great when he comes home. And what's the name of the dude?
Ralph.
I guess we're not doing spoilers though, right? But like, shut on, Ralph. Oh, yeah, it's just amazing.
But yeah, like he undeniably brings an energy to the movie, and like
he definitely does.
It's a net positive. Like I wouldn't.
It definitely is.
Like,
I loved it.
I wouldn't say it's like an Oscar caliber performance, but it's certainly a movie star performance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whereas like Robert De Niro is both. Like he's just like an incredible actor.
Yeah. Some of the looks he does in this movie are amazing.
At the by the end of this, when they were announcing the nominations for that year, Al Pacino was the one who was surprised they didn't get any nominations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily for his sake, but for the movies. And I guess I don't know why that would be. Like, was it seen as more of a genre film at the time or something?
That's surprising to me. I didn't realize that.
It didn't come away. Well, it didn't get nominated for anything, so it can't come away with anything.
Right.
Well, yeah. If they made this movie today, they would throw every award at it imaginable. I would have to think. They're just more into the genre stuff. Yeah, like maybe just too violent, too loud, too long.
Maybe, but like I feel like wasn't it like a huge event at the time though? It's like these two guys finally together, like.
Well, you would think
this giant scene where they're across the table from each other. It's like you've never seen anything like it.
And
I don't know. I guess it was a different time though, right? It was before the internet. Before all that nonsense.
Such an interesting feeling with this movie because everyone you're watching is just horrible. The first scene, they're just already killing guys, and they don't they don't care about anyone but themselves, right? And then by the end, or at least by the middle of it, you're kind of like rooting for them.
It's crazy, right?
You're rooting for both sides.
Yeah, you want both. You want both of them to win, which is crazy because Robert De Niro like fully murders a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean, innocent people.
But like I think the movie also does a good job of showing that the way he kills people is nothing like psychotic. It is psychotic in a different way. Sorry,
there's utility to it.
Yes.
And but they give you that character of, I don't know, Nazi long-hair guy.
Weintraub, was it?
What's his name? Weibo, not Weibo.
Yeah, Max Weibo. But they give you that character to show, like, okay, like they're not as bad as this guy.
Yeah, like this guy. Yeah. Although, I'm not going to get to spoilers.
Yeah, I think I was about to say something spoilery too.
I don't know what counts as a spoiler at this point.
Well, yeah, but the thing I was going to mention is halfway through the movie. Is that still a spoiler? Like, this is a long movie.
The flip, I was going to say something in the first half hour that I was worried was a spoiler.
Well, why don't we
should we just get into
anything else we should talk about before? Definitely. like and subscribe to this podcast. Give us
Let's do that.
5 stars. We're running a contest right now to win a year's subscription to Letterboxd.
Yes, check us out on Letterboxd for the information.
First Look Final W is our handle, so check us out there.
Can't believe someone had our handle.
No, it has a character limit.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Come on, Letterboxd.
I follow these guys. They're great.
There you go. We have one follower.
Mostly Trevor on there. Let's be real.
Okay, yeah, and definitely see Heat.
Yes.
Like, don't be stupid like I was, and maybe watch it in like a high quality format with the volume turned way up, because that makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah, Heat is a good movie. You heard it here first. Shocking, right? All right, should we get to spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers. I guess something to talk about.
No spoilers.
Like what I was talking about with really rooting for those guys is like, you know, you even want Tom Sizemore to win. Like he's presented like a good family man, and then at the end he dies because he takes a kid as a shield. Like,
oh man,
he appreciates kids and appreciates like how they can be used.
He also seems like an absolute psychopath, though. Like, I love the scene where he's like, we've been made, we've got heat on us, we probably shouldn't do this job. Which is like, yes, you definitely shouldn't do this.
You
he's
have
like,
plenty of money stored away.
He's like, well, I'll ask you guys what you want to do. And Val Kilmer's character's like, well, I need money because I'm a gambling addict. So he's like, okay, that's a great idea why we should do it. What about you, Tom Sizemore? And he's like, I'm a psychopath.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, great.
I live for this. I live for this.
Yeah,
the action is the juice.
The action is the juice. It's like, well, I'm convinced. Well, I'm convinced it's worth the risk. You guys have really bullied.
Man, when they were doing that scene, when they're all discussing whether or not they're in or out, and you can see him like giving it his all. He knows he's standing right in front of Robert De Niro. He's like, this is my chance.
Like, this is it. This is almost just going to be on all the reels.
And like, Tom Sizemore, what a guy, you know?
This whole movie was just like packed with people, everybody in it. I was like, I know that guy from many things.
Like, they got Danny Trejo, President Palmer. I can't remember what that actor's name is.
Yes.
Danny Trejo was like one of Michael Mann's guys for a bit before he became Danny Trejo.
Was his name Trejo in this movie? Yeah, it was Trejo in this movie. That is amazing.
And they're like, well, we lost one minority on here. This team, let's get another guy.
You brought up President Palmer from 24, right?
Yeah,
he's also great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
but,
he's like an FBI agent who goes bad.
Yeah. But that was another like thread that I kind of felt was a bit underserved. His whole like. He's like, oh, he's come out of prison. And he's like, oh, I hate being a fry cook. This guy's taking advantage of me. It just felt like it was a bit like, would I like to see a bit more of this guy's story for me to care so much.
He was just there to die, right?
Yeah, but like, I just felt like it was a bit. Yeah, we did all this setup, and so you know, like who this is, so we can just replace him as the driver and then die immediately. I was like,
I will agree, there wasn't much of a payoff with introducing that character,
and like
building him up, and then he just kind of dies.
Like whatever it is, sister or whatever, like she's in the bar and like sees him on TV, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad he's dead." And we're like, well, I don't really know who you are, really, or care about you at all.
Yeah,
I feel like I would love to see like a 5-hour cut of this movie, or just break it up, do a miniseries. I feel like I say that a lot, though. Make a miniseries out of it.
Lucky for you, there is an expansion of this universe that we didn't even talk about on the way here, right? Heat 2?
I've not seen Heat.
He's supposedly going to make it next, right?
Yeah, the book's been out for a couple of years. I haven't read it yet.
Apparently that is
Bobby rises from the dead.
That is his next project, apparently.
I'm interested.
I assume they would just recast Pacino, and then
I think we got to recast everybody because it takes place immediately after.
Right?
Really?
Well, I was just thinking it would be Pacino plus like hunting someone else, right? Because it's just Kilmer's character Chris who's alive, right?
Yeah. Can we talk about how he manages to escape? Because I feel like that was weak sauce.
Well, he shaved his ponytail, and they're like, well, We gotta let him go. This guy doesn't have a ponytail.
They're waiting for him to show up at his apartment, and then he shows up at the apartment.
They're depending on her to tell them it's him, right? Because I don't think they've ever gotten a good look at him.
But no, because they had like rap sheets on all of the crew. They were tailing him for weeks. They had pictures and shit of him.
You are right. But it's like,
and then they're like, this is definitely not Val Kilmer. He's got brown hair.
I do like that the cop was smart enough to not believe her and to pull that guy over. Because I think a weaker movie, they would have just gone like, it wasn't him.
But like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, he pulls over, gets out of the car, and he's looking, and then he turns around and goes to those random guys playing basketball in the middle of the night.
It's pretty suspicious.
What is it that he asked the guy? Because it sounded like he says,
"Are there any good restaurants around here?"
I think he says, "Do you know where I can get bread?"
No. It's where can I rent? Like, find a place to rent around here.
Oh, okay.
It's like that's one of the things.
Can I stay with you?
Misheard as bread, and it kind of makes sense because he says, "Oh, there's a grocer down the street."
It's like, where can I get bread? Oh, there's a grocery store. It's like, that is not a real life conversation anyone would have. It's not believable at all.
So someone just walked up to you in the street and said,
"If I was playing basketball in the night with my bros, and some guy was like, hey, do you know where I could get bread?" I'd be like, Get out of here.
Playing basketball with my bros.
I do that, which I want to do of an evening. Yeah, that would just seemed a little bit odd. I mean, I don't.
I mean, I kind of like that she decides that she's going to.
I did like
tell him to leave.
I liked the idea of what was happening. I just thought like the execution, I was a bit like, that's a bit odd. Like, like why even go and ask the guy about where can I rent? Well, like, just get back in your car.
So he has a reason to have gotten out of the car, I guess, right?
But apparently they're not even watching because if they were, it's super obvious. He's staring up at her, like smiling.
It was some sloppy give it away, right? Like she was standing there. She had to identify him. None of the police were watching, I guess, and they let him go because they trusted her. Well, to an extent, I guess.
Yeah.
But still pulled him over to see if it was actually him. And John Voight is a guy you want to know because apparently with the stuff he gives you, you can get away with literally anything.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Sorry, Mr. Fix-It guy.
He's got diplomatic plates. I can't. Although his plan,
this guy's totally clean.
His plan to sell the bearer bonds back to the guy that he stole them from is a little stupid. I would say, like,
it was in theory, it was a a good idea.
In theory, but that would be taking all emotion out of it. Like, if this guy is just a pure businessman.
Yeah, sure. Come on, dude.
I think there is no emotion, right? That's what that entire crew operates on.
That guy folded him like very, very quickly.
Well, because he thought he was a gangster, right? And then Robert De Niro's like, "Oh, I'm going to come and kill you." And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to play anymore. I don't like this."
I guess he immediately just like hides in his office for a week.
Maybe my buddy Henry Rollins don't want anything to do with this.
What is Henry Rollins? Isn't it? Oh my word!
I think that was his.
Like, I couldn't picture where I'm doing from. That's insane.
It was this or Johnny Mnemonic that was like his first movie.
So who was Henry Rollins? I'm not
his
Black Flag. Singer from Black Flag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was he did a few movies though back in the day, right?
He's done David Lynch movies.
Wow.
He's in Mulholland Drive or Lost Highway or maybe both.
Okay. Just like a big beefy guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like Jeremy Piven just pops up in this movie.
Oh, the theater laughed when they saw him.
Because it's crazy. Like, was he popular like in '95 or whenever this came out? Like,
I think no, he was just
because it was almost like it was a cameo. He pops up in one scene and then he's done.
He was just like a character actor and like
it's crazy.
Who had, like he hadn't got hair plugs yet.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's why people are laughing. It's like, oh my god, it's like legit old Piven. That was amazing.
Yeah, he would just pop up in sitcoms and bit parts in movies and stuff. Right.
I felt like the guy who was working behind the desk at the hotel, was he the guy from Parks and Rec?
Jerry?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It looked just like him.
No. It couldn't have been.
I swear. Someone looked that up. I might be way wrong about this.
Because if you're right, that's really cool. If you're wrong,
I don't think so. I'm betting all my chips. I'm going all in.
I don't know how low I'd have to go into the cast list to see if it's accurate. I feel like he's scrolling down for a long time.
But yeah, why I don't really think that Al Pacino is a good guy. I think the easiest one to point to is, he took a shot at Tom Sizemore while Tom Sizemore was holding a child. which I think
is insane.
Irresponsible.
That he did that,
and it was
insane.
It wasn't like an accuracy.
He was like 30 yards. 30 yards away.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
The fact that
I don't think it is him. I don't see him.
He's at the hospital with his wife, and Natalie Portman is like still recovering, and he just he can't fucking wait to leave it and go.
He skips down those stairs.
He's like running as fast as he possibly
can. Like a little girl skipping down those stairs. It was amazing.
He has plenty of opportunities to bust them for lower charges. Right, but he doesn't do it. If he had busted them for lower charges, a lot of people would have been alive.
Very true.
I mean, no argument there, but he says it multiple times in the movie, right? Like, all I am is who I'm going after.
Yeah.
So he doesn't.
It's all about the hunt, man.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think he cares who gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument for the case that he's a good person.
Yeah, his marriage is falling apart. He knows why it's falling apart. He's not going to do anything about it.
He doesn't seem to care that much.
His stepdaughter commit attempted suicide because he's absent and because his mother is also absent. And what I was getting at before, Pete, is I feel like there's not much development with her, and it's meant to be that way just because she is absent from his life, or more accurately, he's absent from hers. So this thing happened. He was totally oblivious until he finds her in the bathtub.
Well, I kind of like that the one part in the movie where he has some semblance of, I need a work-life balance, so I need to go home and go to my hotel room and go to sleep. That saves Natalie Portman's life for him calling it quits that night. Because if he hadn't gone home that early, he wouldn't have saved her life.
That's a good point. Because
earlier in the movie, when he comes home and he sees his wife getting ready, he's like, "Oh, where are we going?" and he's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And he goes down and he's all mad. All he has to do is do the dishes and then apologize to her and say, "I'm going to be better." He thinks about doing the dishes.
I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly in the helicopter instead.
Honestly, that is why I'm like, is this movie a fucking masterpiece? He doesn't want to do the dishes. He's like, I'm not going to do the dishes. I'm going to get in the helicopter and I'm going to go talk to Robert De Niro.
It's like, that's what I want to do.
Oh God, it's so fucking good.
It's I love the bit where he's like, I'm sorry that the chicken was overcooked.
It's hold up. So good.
It's constant.
Oh man, I love that so much.
That is a good point though, Trevor. Yeah, how the one time he decides to be a normal person, that he he saves her life. And it's whenever someone deviates from their plan in this, something either goes terribly wrong or corrects itself.
Yeah,
because whenever Robert De Niro, whenever Macaulay deviates from his plan and he shows attachment or wants revenge, two things he says he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, he's really bad at his own thing.
Absolutely wrong. Yeah, and presumably he's been very good at this in the past.
Right.
I guess all of these characters, they have really developed backstories that all these actors were given, and they base the characters off of this. So Val Kilmer's character, he's an ex-Marine, all of this, and that never comes through in the movie other than, wow, this guy really knows how to handle a weapon and knows his explosives.
Val Kilmer is very believable, handling that weapon. He just when he's in that battle mode, he is a complete psychopath.
Yeah.
So one thing Michael Mann does with his actors, and this is part of Thief too, he makes them learn what they're doing, so they spend time at the gun range, that kind of thing.
Right.
I was going to ask I think it's Val Kilmer's character goes into the vault, takes out the bag, stretches it out, puts it over the money, flips it upside down. How many times do you think they practiced that exact thing? Because it was just so perfect,
it was so well done, right? Yeah.
Whoever that thief was that he worked with for the movie Thief, he has him as an advisor on his movies.
Oh, really?
And
you can tell, right?
He gives the ins and outs about this kind of stuff. What I was saying with Thief is that James Caan, those are actual thieves tools. So Michael Mann made him learn how to crack a safe.
Wow!
In order to crack a safe in the movie,
well,
it's needless.
I still think
he's not really doing it right. He's
the safe cracking scene from Thief is still my favorite scene in all of Michael Mann's movies. It's just so perfect. And this movie is really in conversation with Thief, I think. Whereas Thief is about how, Michael Mann's never going to let the studio control him. Right. And then this movie's about how I'm never going to have personal attachments that get in the way of me making great movies. And I have no idea what Michael Mann's personal life is, so I don't know if that's true or not.
Making assumptions.
But it's certainly like, whereas Thief has like, what a lot of Michael Mann's movies have this, right? Like they have like a really, really competent lead actor who's great at their job, is great at process and working through problems.
Right.
And this one has two of them working against each other.
Yeah, he loves competent professionals. He loves informants. Man, that guy can't get enough informants. Everything he does has some kind of quirky informant. Like in this one, it was the guy's name was Albert at that like chop shop.
Oh yeah.
He's like an exact 1-for-1 as a character in Miami Vice.
Right.
The guy has themes that he absolutely goes back to the well for.
Right. And pretty well shot movie, I would say.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone's ever noticed that before. Like,
I think we're the first one to ever say it.
Yeah. And like
we're breaking all kinds of boundaries here.
Like, and it has such creative set choices of like where like doing it at a drive-in.
Yeah, but like
such a cool idea.
Don't raise any red flags when the guy wanted to do this seemingly innocuous like exchange of a parcel in like the seediest like middle of nowhere place you could think
there
of.
Were red flags. That's why you had Val Kilmer with the giant gun.
True enough.
And Tom Sizemore with the shotgun.
It's like I don't know what is a good location.
Anywhere else like where there's people around. Like come on.
That's what Jesse Pinkman says in Breaking Bad. It's like, a junkyard is where someone who thinks they're a criminal would choose as a handoff. Like
exactly.
Like
right.
you would just
do it in a park. Like what's the problem?
Like I said, most of my deals go down to like fast food restaurants.
Right, exactly. Let's go to a T-Hose.
But then like the final showdown at the airport is
god. I honestly I didn't remember that scene. I think maybe I never got that far in the movie in the past.
Well, I don't remember a lot post the big like gun battle.
Me
in
too.
The highway.
So the second half, basically.
Well, yeah,
it feels like that could legit be the end of the movie because it's like that. It's that far into it, and it's like you could easily tie up there. They all die or whatever, and it's like we're still got a ton to go here. There's stuff happening, guys.
But do you like this? This is kind of it's maybe out of nowhere. Maybe a lot of people have said this online. I don't know. Do you think Phantom Menace borrowed a lot from that final fight with the airplane? Like the Duel of the Fates battle
with the lights,
with like the lights going on and off.
I did not make that connection. That is funny, man. I don't know about
I think it's a stretch, but I respect
the bit where Pacino cuts him in half with a lightsaber. That probably took a bit from it.
Well, Liam Neeson is just there. I don't know. I was definitely getting those vibes,
really?
But you can certainly see the influence of this movie on all action movies that came after. Like everyone compares Dark Knight to this, and I think Christopher Nolan said pretty much that I really like Heat, and I want to do a superhero version of that.
Practically smash a truck and flip it upside down.
Yeah.
Talking about what I was saying earlier about bits that maybe could have been cut out. What do you guys think about the whole bit where Nazi cowboy murders the prostitute, and then like Pacino's like aggressively hugging the mother? Like, what was the reason for that?
I think it's to show that he's still human.
That's what I mean. Like trying to humanize him.
This is why what he does is worth it. Is to catch bad guys or whatever.
The craziest part of that scene is how they talk about like. This is a series. Like this guy is a serial killer.
That's what I mean. I feel like there's like a bunch of stuff missing in this movie. Like I need to see the three episode arc of like tracking down this serial killing Nazi cowboy.
I honestly think like it's a little overboard. Like that stuff is put in there to show like that Robert De Niro's gang aren't the worst people in the world.
Yeah.
But De
Niro does have a heart.
It's just a little bit too much. Like we already know that guy is a ruthless killer. Like he shot the guy for staring at him when really the guy was just stunned because there was an explosion that went off right beside him.
I also this always happens in movies though. I feel like it's a bit of a stretch to be like the whole reason why. Well, there's two reasons why that things fall apart. The first one is that
Slick.
Come on now,
it's a
come
stretch.
on, that's a little bit of a stretch. And the other thing is, how the heck did they let Nazi cowboy get away? When they were going to put him in the trunk of the car, and then the police come in like, all right, natural, and he's literally stood above him.
Houdini level disappearing.
Wasn't right?
Yeah.
That's like you were stood basically on him. Like, how did he scurry away without you even seeing where he went? Like, that's pretty poor planning, guys.
That's why I'm skeptical that these guys are as good as Al Pacino thinks they are, because they make some pretty big mistakes.
A lot of errors.
Well, yeah, whenever anything happens outside of the plan, things go wrong, and having to kill. Is it Weintraub?
Yeah, well,
but like they could have.
That's not part of the plan.
Like, take him to another location and kill him there. Like, why do you have to kill him in the parking lot?
Killing him in a truck stop parking lot is a pretty bold move.
Robert De Niro is too mad.
Yeah,
right, and that's kind of his downfall because he's like, do I want to go and live on a tropical island? Be rich and have sex with my girlfriend, or do I want to murder this guy in a hotel room?
You know what the funny thing is? You say go on a tropical island. He wants to go to New Zealand.
Well, that's right. Yeah, he wants to go to New Zealand.
And he obviously has enough money to afford it without doing this bank job.
I don't see why he has to do his last job. Because he's addicted. I
think that's what
he needs one last.
I really love that bit at the end when John Voight's like to him, you don't care about this because you're going to leave. And he does that little smile. And he's just like, I'm going to do it because I can't stop doing this.
Yeah, I can't help
I feel like at that point, it's like, I don't want to go to New Zealand with this bitch. I want to keep doing this. And he knows that he's not going to get away.
Because I think it's a certain point in the movie, it's Robert De Niro and Al Pacino both respect each other. Yeah. They see each other like, I'm the best at what I do. You're the best at what you do. Who is the best between the two of us? Like,
it's two predators and mutual respect between the two of them, and it is a friendly competition where a ton of people get killed. Yeah, and then despite Al Pacino saying that if you're about to make somebody a widow, I won't let you.
Yeah, and then they get to hold hands at the end. Yeah, that was really sweet.
It was nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, and Robert De Niro, before he goes and kills that guy, he knows it's a trap.
Yeah, he does.
But he still can't stop himself.
That's what I mean. That little smile is like he knows. He's like, I'm not going to get away. I'm probably not going to get away out of this, but I don't care because I'm going to do it anyway.
But even after that, like he sees that the guy Jerry from Parks and Rec has a shotgun behind the desk.
It's definitely him. Why would he have a shotgun? Was he like supposed to be a police officer?
Yeah, he was a plan. But like he also seemed very dedicated to serving the Project Aardman.
He didn't seem to be doing much of anything else, to be honest.
He discovered his passion in life. It's not policing.
It's like that looks like
conciliation.
He's like, that looks like the back of Robert De Niro's head. But you know what? This guy needs to make a reservation, so screw him.
This guy wants to extend his stay through the weekend.
And like the guys who was doing surveillance on him in the room are like, I guess there's a fire alarm. I guess that means there must be a fire, right? Man, nobody would be trying to like make a scene.
People are going crazy because of the fire alarm.
Someone pulled the fire alarm.
Everyone on the street is just running.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's madness. It's like pandemonium. It's like, there's no fire, right? Like someone just pulled a fire alarm. You guys need to calm down. But even the police are like, I'm gonna go check if there's smoke in the stairwell. It's like, can you calm down? We're supposed to be watching this guy.
Call every firefighter. Get them down here right now. These are not complaints about the movie. No, I feel like it just heightens funny. It. Like, and I think it's smart of Michael Mann to not care about logic like that.
Yeah, and all these kind of movies have that, right? The suspension of disbelief a little bit. Because the also thing I was finding it difficult to sort of believe was his girlfriend. Rob De Niro's girlfriend, when she finds out that he's like a murdering thief, she's very upset for like 10 minutes. And then she's like, you know what? Maybe I will just go to New Zealand with you forever.
I think she's just attracted to a different sort of life because, as we've established, she is the loneliest woman on the West Coast.
And I guess that does also explain why when she's sat in the car outside the hotel by herself and everything goes to shit, she's just like, I'll probably just stay here.
She's like, all right, I'll give him 5 more minutes.
What else am I going to do?
She has multiple, she does, Robert De Niro tells her she can leave.
Yeah, that's true. Many times.
She does say, will you let me leave later? So she's she's still trying to determine whether or not this is what she wants.
Yeah, I guess she just really wants them.
Excuse me.
Also, I guess like back in the 90s, it is super easy to just like hop a fence into LAX and just hang out on the runway, which seems like really dangerous.
They kept landing planes despite like gunshots.
Like
going
it shows
off
you up to do just like flipping over like a 6-foot chain link fence, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm in the airport."
Pre 9/11 world.
It's like security is lax here.
So he had an airplane.
What was his plan to try and get to that airplane at that point?
I think so.
Because that is not a good plan. They're never going to let you take off in that plane.
I honestly think like his whole idea to fly out is stupid. Like I feel like just like stay in John Voight's basement for a few weeks.
Well, I mean, a lot of his decisions are stupid. It's like we've got all this heat on us. Should we do this bank job or not? And not one of them's like, why don't we just wait 6 months?
Pause for 6 months.
Or a year. Like the bank's not going anywhere.
They're gonna run out of
they don't know what we're talking is bank.
Like Tom Noonan gave us some pretty good intel here. Like we could just use this anytime.
One of the things they keep talking about in the movie is time. Like, do we have time to do this? Do we have time to do that? We're running out of time. Like time is such a big part of this movie. And I guess it's just sort of to convey this urgency that, yes, this all needs to be done at these specific times. Like, is it because that amount of money is going to be at that bank at that time, and that's the only time they can guarantee it? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, when he's explaining it seems like it's like every month it's like that. He's like, I got the records for the past 6 months, and every month it's like all this money.
It's related to payroll, right? They have to bring in extra money for payroll.
But I guess maybe they'll change which bank has the payroll money. Maybe I don't know. They could have put an extra line in there just to make it clear, like this is a once in a lifetime shot.
But they've also proven that Robert De Niro and crew are quite good at stealing things. Just like steal another thing another time.
Yep. Or just give up on that job entirely, go do something else.
Yeah, I guess what's the urgency? For Val Kilmer, they do a good job explaining the urgency because
I wish they'd show a bit more of she's must have seen gambling and all his money away.
Yeah.
Just playing cards.
You just want more. You just want a longer cut of the movie.
I just want to see more of these characters.
Las Vegas in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I want a full 40-minute sequence of just Val Kilmer gambling all his money away and just losing his shit.
I guess I can justify the timing thing. I think we've been talking about it though. They're all just so driven to do this. They don't want downtime, right? Like Robert De Niro is obsessed with doing this.
This is what they want to do.
Needs the money because he needs the money, and Tom Sizemore says the action is the juice.
It's the juice,
so
man.
he needs it.
Can't
and Danny Trejo wants
to
do it because he says okay.
I love that. I love how everyone has their own little we have to do it for this reason. It's like, what about you, Trejo? And he's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of a throwaway joke at how little the movie puts stock into what he cares about.
Yeah. They barely even put the camera on him.
No, it zoomed out for that.
It's we're going to the wide shot for that.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is also interesting, how he chooses to frame things, because in the scene when they're having coffee in the bar, in my mind, there's the wide shot of them together, but there isn't a wide shot. It's always just an over the shoulder of each character. They never show them in the same shot.
Well, yeah, and I heard an internet rumor for years that they hated each other and then they never were actually in the same space. But I think it's just that's not true. And
Michael Mann has said that is not true.
Yeah,
plus they're definitely the same space in other scenes of the movie. This specific movie, the whole end sequence.
Yeah. No, I will not hold this. I will only hold the hand of a body double.
It's that was a prop hand.
Yeah, it's that is such a strange rumor, but
it's an interesting choice though that he did that.
He did what?
What?
He did he didn't shoot it in a way where it's no, they're obviously sat next to each other because they're in the same shot.
Oh yeah, that is just such a good scene though. The body language between the two of them,
just two powerhouses, just really going at it.
And
I guess they can't exist on the screen at the exact same time because
wouldn't contain them.
Yeah,
it was just burst into flames. Too much acting.
That scene is just so cool though. How they're they rarely break eye contact. They're trying to suss each other out, and how Al Pacino completely disarms the conversation by being like, my life's a train wreck or whatever.
I feel like Pacino got the better of him in that conversation because he baits him into admitting that he has a girlfriend.
Yeah,
and that's how he clocks him at the end because he's like, "That's a girl in a car. That must be his girlfriend."
Yeah. At the same time, though, he was kind of being played, right? Because right afterwards, he dropped the car off at the airport and disappeared.
True.
Like the whole crew just disappeared.
I just love that bit where he's like, "Oh, you got a girl?" He's like, "I got a girlfriend." What are you trying to say? I'm gay. I put out. So it's like, all right, calm down, Robert. I thought that was funny. Just like immediately jumps on, I got a girl.
Yeah, I got a girl. Fine, whatever. I don't even like her.
All right, big man, whatever.
She's like furniture to me.
She's from another school. You don't know her.
You wouldn't know her. She's from New Zealand.
She's from New Zealand. Oh, that's good.
All right. Well,
we made it.
We made it. Any last words on Heat?
I'm just really glad that you came around on it, Trevor.
Yeah,
this would be a weird conversation if I didn't like it.
Man, you should have kept up the pretense of it, or just like
trying to shit on you the whole time.
Did I have you guys going?
You were very quiet. I was like, oh man,
for a second,
he's gonna say he hates it. You should have done like a whole 5-minute tirade about how it was the poorest made movie.
I might have, but I feel like we would have lost some listeners at this point.
Well, that's what you need, man. You need those angry clicks, man.
That's how you
get those views.
I just listen to this podcast because I love Heat, and then this guy's just saying how he hates it.
It's all just hate listen to Trevor for 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe I should be more of like a Vince McMahon type character, just to heal.
We need a heel on the podcast.
Just start, come on, your favorite movie's trash, huh?
I mean, you tried to like trash Kenneth Branagh
today like that.
Well, I'm being true to my own experience. So,
it's a hateful man.
Well, I certainly learned today that, you where you are in your life, I guess. I don't know. It depends on, it impacts your viewing experience.
Very true.
Yeah, where you are in your life really depends how you see one of the greatest movies ever made. Weird.
Yeah, it's good though. It's a good note to it though. It's like rewatch things. If you don't really like something and everyone's telling you it's great, maybe just give it another chance. You might surprise yourself.
Yeah, if everyone else is doing something, don't you think that you should be doing?
Yeah, stop being original.
Sometimes guys will tell you to watch Flushed Away, but it's actually a really bad idea.
Yeah.
No, you have to watch Flushed Away again. It's pretty good.
It's legit, man.
Like, take your glasses off, then watch Flushed Away. Then
just don't look at the dog shit animation according to Trevor.
Gotta get like an email from some animator.
Yeah, it's like actually you'll find.
They pioneered several techniques.
I'll send you some side-by-side screen captures with Toy Story and Flushed Away.
Toy Story is way better than Flushed Away.
It's a movie, yeah, but not the animation.
Like the animation.
Toy Story's at least got some better art direction, I'd say. Like, it's just nicer to look at.
And you could go back and watch Toy Story 1. It is pretty brutal.
But it would be different because I like Toy Story. This is a Toy Story podcast.
The poll I'm going to put up for this episode is...
What's better, Toy Story or Flushed Away?
No. Is the animation for Flushed Away dog shit? Yes or no? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, no, maybe.
All right, so I'd say check out Heat by Michael Mann.
Yes.
If there's a beloved movie that you don't like, maybe give it another chance in the theater.
Yeah, it was good in the theater, man. Like, I'm really glad we got that experience because it was a great cinema experience.
And if you were that gentleman sitting next to me, can you let me know what?
Apologize to him, Trevor.
What was going on? I'm not apologizing.
Send me your address, and we'll have a talk.
Yeah, okay. Justin will send a care package to you.
All right, if we wrap it up,
well, thanks for joining us, Justin.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Follow me on Letterboxd. I think my name's The Lonely Goat.
The Lonely Goat. Check him out. Appreciate your time, man. It's good to have you on always.
Anytime.
Anything else from your end, Trevor?
Yeah, check us out next week for what I believe will be Arthur Christmas and I don't know what our feature is going to be. We're going to have to figure it out.
What's out? Maybe.
Jingle all the way.
Yeah, I have
Jingle All the Way.
this schedule, but if we can't figure out a new movie to watch, we'll probably watch Jingle All the Way.
It was 2 Christmas double features in March.
It's
It's fine.
You know what? Guess we're already talking Arthur Christmas. So
I know, right? Anyway, well, until then, Merry Christmas. That's the final word.